discussing how, his wife uses his children as human shields. God damn. I can't fault Piers Morgan there for, twisting in his seat. I would have a hard time responding to that as well. But I got several clips. So let me get to this next one that gets to. So Ben Shapiro was a previous guest on Piers Morgan, and I think we all know where Ben Shapiro is on this issue. He's very clear in it doesn't matter how many civilians the Israeli government kills. It's all justified. Here is Bassem Youssef's response.
Well, frankly, I don't believe in proportionate response to terrorism. I believe that the way that you stop terrorism is with wildly disproportionate response. That doesn't mean in terms of targeting civilians. It means in terms of killing as many terrorists as humanly possible and allowing them to dictate the terms of engagement by hiding behind civilians in areas that they are supposedly responsible for means that the only option for Israel is to surrender to Hamas's hatred of its own citizens, its willingness to use its own children as human shields. No country worth its salt could ever do that.
Now, that is substantively different to what you said he said, right? He's talking there
but
specifically about Hamas terrorists.
I agree. I agree with him. The thing is, the question is, what is a proportionate response? Because it has been different from one tier to another. So if you look to this graph, for example, this is the death of Israeli and Palestinians, and it's changing from 1 year to year. It's like fluctuating like crypto. So my question is today, what is the going rate today for human lives? I mean, 2014 was a great year for Ben Shapiro. 88 Israelis were died, and there was 2,329 Palestinians killed on the other side. That is one Israeli for 27 Palestinians. That is a very good exchange rate. What I'm saying is, what is the exchange rate for today? You guys will be happy. That's my question.
Well, it's not me, guys. I'm not on either side.
No, not you. Like when I say you guys, I say like the people on the other side of that. I know that you don't think like that, Piers. You're one of the good guys.
You're one of the good guys, Piers. I'll get to. I mean, he's clowning Piers Morgan here. Piers Morgan is on every side of this issue, regardless. Depending on who he's talking to, he changes his positions. But what Piers Morgan does know how to do is he knows who to invite on to have a entertaining exchange, and that's what's going on here. But man, Bassem Youssef there, the going exchange rate. It's so brilliant and so sad at the same time that I don't know how to respond. I'm having conflicting emotions because it's both a hilarious way to frame it, but also devastating. So I don't have the updated graph that Bassem Youssef was showing there. If someone has it, by the way, or you know where it is, post that in the comments on YouTube. I'll put it under sources on my video. But I have this one from 2021, and this is typically how it's gone. It is, and as I've discussed in previous videos, the power imbalance is very clear. A lot of these Palestinians that were killed are, of course, in Gaza, but a lot of them aren't. A lot in the West Bank are also killed, or throughout Israel, because of the apartheid that is ongoing, because there are different rights for Palestinians compared to Israelis. This is just the reality of the situation for Palestinians. So Bassem Youssef's point is a great one. What is the civilian exchange rate that will satisfy someone like Ben Shapiro? Here's the next clip.
But the thing is, you know what? I agree with you. And you know what? I'm going to be even ahead of you because I see the question coming. Do you condemn Hamas for the atrocity? Yes, I condemn Hamas. I condemn Hamas. Hamas is the source of all evil. They're a reason for everything. And you know what? Let's, for a minute, imagine a world without Hamas.
Right.
What will this word look like? Let's give this word a name, and let's name this word the West Bank. Hamas has absolutely no control in the West Bank. And since the beginning of this year, only through August, 37 Palestinian kids were killed. No music festival, no paragliding, no Hamas. Since the occupation of the West Bank, 7,000 Palestinians were killed. No music festival, no paragliding, no Hamas. I can go on and on and on and on.
This is such a brilliant point. The fact that Israel and its allies are using Hamas as an excuse for whatever the hell Israel decides to bomb in Gaza. Discussing the West Bank and the fact that Hamas does not control the West Bank. Here is the West Bank. again, we're talking about different rights depending on if you're Palestinian, if you're Israeli. I covered in my, I think 2 videos ago, discussing a lot of the checkpoints that only Palestinians have to go through. Just completely different rights, different ability to be able to go to different places depending on if you're Palestinian or Israeli. And on top of that, the people killed in the West Bank, even though not controlled by Hamas. What's the excuse there? And this stuff does not make as much news as when Hamas commits atrocities. So UNICEF here. This is from May 2022. 13 Palestinian children killed in the West Bank since January 2022. So halfway through the year, 13 Palestinians killed in the West Bank alone. This was just this past summer, June 29th. Israeli killing a 15-year-old Palestinian girl in the West Bank. Did you see every politician have to come out and condemn these actions? No, this didn't make headline news. This is from August 28th, about 2 months before Hamas's attack. West Bank spike in Israeli killings of Palestinian children. Did this make headline news? Did Biden have to come out and condemn these actions by the Israeli government? And since the atrocities committed by Hamas, so this is from October 14th, Israeli forces killed 7 Palestinian boys in the occupied West Bank last night into today. The 7 Palestinian children between the ages of 14 and 17 years old were killed in the context of the demonstrations across the Israeli-occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem, as Israeli forces increasingly use intentional lethal force in violation of international law to repress Palestinian protests. So this is 7 just since the attacks. And I believe there's actually more than this. Again, this is from the 14th. This is 4 days ago. But we're talking about the West Bank not controlled by Hamas. What is the justification? Let me get to the next clip.
I heard Ben Shapiro and I heard Ron DeSantis, and they said Israel is the only military force in the world that warns civilians before bombing them. I mean, how fucking cute. That is so nice of them. Because with this logic, if Russian troops started warning Ukrainians before bombing their houses, we're cool with Putin, right? I mean, okay, Habibi, you have warned them, go invade. It's fine. You have done your job.
What would you think would be an appropriate response by Israel to what happened?
Well, these are years of disproportionate responses of Israel.
Right.
Did it solve the solution? Did it solve the problem? Did it work before, so it will work? What will be the surprise this time? What will be the twist that will make this work this time? What will be different this time?
Again, brilliant points all around. The comparison to how Russia is being looked at versus how Israel's being looked at. It's just, you have to look at the heart of the issue, which is the power imbalance. You have the Israeli government controlling people in an open-air prison in Gaza. The borders are closed. The civilians can't escape. The Israeli government is bombing the border between Egypt and Gaza. That border closes randomly anyways. People are stuck there as the Israeli government is bombarding the Gaza Strip. And the complete, at least in Ukraine, civilians could leave. That isn't to excuse anything, obviously. Putin is a monster. But they could leave. In Gaza, they can't even leave. They're crammed in, 2.2 million people crammed in to a small strip of land. They don't control their waters. They don't have an airport. It's wild. And yeah, his last point there, obviously, civilian deaths are from any side is not going to solve this issue. Now, I want to get to this last clip. This is Bassem Youssef bringing up a point that Piers Morgan has made on air, even though Piers Morgan goes on to deny that he has said this. And I'm going to show you back to back, 7 days ago, him saying this.
I am so glad in the introduction that you mentioned the Iraq war. I applaud you, Piers, for saying that, because you were honest about